Yakiniku, grilled barbecue perfection that foodies will love in Japan. Now, yakiniku is the Japanese word for grilled meat. Yaki means grilled and niku means meat. It's an incredible dining experience where you sit at a table with a grill in front of you and you cook sliced meat just the way you want it, which is medium rare, right? Totally understandable if you want to call it Japanese barbecue, and in many ways, it is very much like barbecue, and yes, in some aspects, it's similar to Korean BBQ if you're familiar with that. If you're following along in the guide, look here for our recommendations for the best yakiniku restaurants in Tokyo, and also check out Yakiniku's close cousin, teppanyaki, for another incredible dining experience in Japan. So, the dining experience with yakiniku is kind of split into two separate experiences. One, you have Tabehodai, and two, you have order by the plate. Tabehodai means all you can eat in Japanese, and it's a popular type of yakiniku restaurant where you get usually around 90 minutes to eat as much as you desire, usually with a tiered menu where certain meats are available at different price levels depending on how much you want to spend for your 90 minutes. Some restaurants will have sort of a standard folding menu at the table, others will have modernized, giving you a sort of touch tablet kind of experience to order, and you just kind of touch what you want on the menu or call the staff over and pick what you want, and then you just keep ordering and the meat keeps coming until you run out of your time or you get full and you decide that you're done. But there is kind of a rule, don't order a whole lot if you're not going to be able to finish it. Don't go at the end of your meal where you're kind of getting full, but you're like, I want to get value out of it, and then go and order like 5 or 6 plates of something and then end up not finishing it. It's kind of rude, and I've never seen any restaurant really do anything about it, but obviously you don't want to be wasteful. The second type was order by the plate, and this is more where you look at your menu and you kind of pick the cut that you want and then how many plates of it you want to have brought to your table. And the plates are generally sort of, how do I say it, measured by the person. So you would say like, I want 2 plates because that would be for like 2 people. Like 1 plate is generally on enough meat for 1 person. And of course you pay per plate that you order, which sounds like it would be probably more expensive. And in some ways, sometimes it can be, especially if you're the type of person that can eat a lot. Those Tabehodai places, you can pig out and pay the one price for, even though you've eaten a ton. But there's a trade-off. Generally, the order by the plate type places are a more higher quality cut, higher quality meat. And honestly, what I find is that when my wife and I go to Yakiniku, we go to the order by the plate kind of places because we're looking for the quality, and we're full by the time we end up spending, 7,000 to 8,000 yen, which is 70 or 80 bucks for the both of us. And if you're going to try and get the same quality out of a Tabehodai place, you're going to have to go up a menu or up a tier or so on the menu anyway. And that means that you're probably going to end up spending 4,000 yen each, so about 8,000 yen in total again. Anyway, so it kind of comes out to be roughly the same price, but with the order by the plate, you usually get better quality. Some common yakiniku meats that you're going to run into when you go to a yakiniku restaurant is, of course, beef. That's the primary meat. Beef is gyuniku in Japanese. If you remember, niku is meat, gyu is cow, beef. Popular cuts that you're going to find, tang. Tan is tongue, and tongue is probably the most popular meat. And often, if you go to a place that's real busy, they could be out of it, and you won't be able to try it. Karubi is a very close second, though. Karubi is boneless short rib. And then you have los and harami, which is shoulder and skirt steak. Sometimes if you go to a really high-end place, there's that amazing high-grade Wagyu Japanese beef, and that stuff is, of course, incredible, crazy high, quality. You're going to pay for it usually. But one small little hack is if you want to ask for something that's just a little bit better than the standard karubi, you can ask for Nakauchi Jo karubi, which is a little bit of a higher quality. It costs more, but it ain't that crazy, $50 for a tiny slice or anything like that. And sometimes the menu doesn't show it, and if you ask for the Nakauchi Jo karubi, they might have it. Going down to pork, you have butabara, tontoro, and then that's basically pork belly and the sort of cheek area. Tontoro is the cheek area. It's hard to describe. It's sort of a crisp meat. When it cooks, it kind of has a crunch. And then you'll find usually chicken and sausage and stuff like that at these yakiniku restaurants as well. Now, be careful of horomon-yaki. Horomon is offal, or, the innards of the cow, things like intestine, liver, heart. And you might like that, but I just wanted to say be careful of horomon-yaki, because there are some yakiniku restaurants that look like they're yakiniku restaurants, but when you get in there, they're actually a horomon-yaki restaurant. And while even the horomon-yaki restaurants will have regular yakiniku too, they often don't have the same level of selection for the regular meats. They've got a great selection of offal, but if you're in a family and one likes horomon-yaki, one doesn't, if you go to a horomon-yaki restaurant, you might limit the choices for the other person. Some other things you're going to find in a yakiniku restaurant are like some soups. Soups like karabikupa is sort of a spicy soup with rice and short ribs and stuff in it. Komutan is beef bone or oxtail soup. It's a sort of whitish soup. It has a sort of general kind of flavor, salt and pepper added to taste. It's pretty good. Wakame is a seaweed soup. It almost looks like it's hot water with seaweed in it, but it has like some chicken stock and some onion and stuff like that in it. And it is actually a good pairing with yakiniku. Now, yakiniku dipping sauce is interesting because it's one of those things that you can buy in a supermarket here in Japan. But nearly all yakiniku restaurants kind of make their own kind of unique variety. It's sort of a combination of soy sauce, mirin, sugar, sesame oil, garlic, whatever else the shop wants to add to make theirs unique. I love the sauces that add roasted white sesame too, and many of them do. The result is sort of a salty, sweet it's sort of a slightly thick sauce that, when you dip it, it really sticks to the meat pretty good. And I haven't really run into a yakiniku restaurant that doesn't have a dipping sauce. And of course, that stuff makes an awesome marinade too, if you want to take advantage of that. Now, when you order meat, sometimes at some of these places, they're going to give you two choices. On the menu, they might ask you like tare or shio. Tare means sauce and shio means salt. So they're kind of asking you, when they deliver the meat, do you want it already marinated in a sauce or do you just want salt on it? I pretty much always ask for salt, but you can give it a try for either way. Now, the Yakiniku Grill is something that will really make or break a yakiniku shop. Some you'll have gas grills, which can be okay, but I prefer the charcoal grills. Gyukaku is a very popular yakiniku chain that uses charcoal grills, and they have like a staff that just goes to this back room, pulls out the hot charcoal, puts it in the grill, and actually carries it to your table like that, almost like it's one of those fancy hibachi ceramic grills, and it's embedded in the table. It's really cool. Definitely charcoal if you can find it. Not saying that the gas yakiniku restaurants are terrible. Sometimes if you go to a cheapy kind of place, you might end up getting a sort of gassy flavor on the meat, and nobody wants that, especially if you're just in Tokyo for a little while. You don't want to ruin your experience like that. There are some, or I should say most yakiniku restaurants are grill your own. They bring the meat and you grill it yourself, but there are some that typically are the more high-end restaurants where they grill it for you and then give you the cooked meat. And that's usually one of those experiences where the chef is like, a master of his craft, and he's really trying to be like, hey, this is how this particular cut, I've got this perfect way of cooking it for you. And it really is an incredible experience. Now, one more note about the charcoal is binchotan is a very special type of charcoal. It's like a whole new level of charcoal, really. It's a I believe it's oak, but it's from a certain region in Japan where, they fire it and turn it petrified. And then when this particular charcoal burns, it burns like completely odorless, which doesn't add like this of its own like kind of stink to the meat. And just, you'll know when you go to a place that has binchotan instead of regular charcoal. It's pretty awesome. Now, there is a little bit of yakiniku etiquette that might not be obvious at first. I just wanted to touch on it just real quick, not because there's some sort of real like Japanese cultural rule that you just have to abide by, because there really isn't, but it's really kind of more common sense. And generally in a party setting where everyone usually kind of shares everything, the price, the food, the drinks, kind of all of it. And often the youngest adults in the party will do most of the grilling and give the cooked meat to the elder first. And every once in a while, you're going to run into an awkward person who tries to only order what they want and pays for only what they've ordered. It's rare. It doesn't really come up that often. And I never really dig into those situations too much because it feels weird, and it could just be that the person has their own reasons for doing it, and I don't want to bring it up. Like I said, you shouldn't really run into this very often unless you're in a party, of all Japanese or something for some reason, and you might notice this happening around you, and I just wanted you to be aware. Now, my favorite Yakiniku hidden spot, and it actually has changed, but if you go out to the western side of Tokyo, in an area called Mizuho, there's a little teeny tiny Yakiniku restaurant called Komutan. And it recently moved, but is generally in the same area. And it's just one of those little mom and pop shops. And if you're following along with this guide, if you follow down to where I am in the guide, I have a link to it so you can find it on Google Maps. But it's one of those places that just has like this really kind of homey feel, and they have some of the best cuts of meat around. It's not A5 Kobe, where it's going to cost you an arm and a leg, but it's well marbled and delicious nonetheless. So check it out if you've got the chance, and you'll get a great atmosphere with delicious food. Now, one final thing before we close out this guide is Yakiniku Day. Yeah, there is a Yakiniku Day. It's a sort of holiday. It's not really one, but it's kind of a play on the sound of the 29th day in August, 8/29, which is pronounced Yakiniku, which means 8/29. And if you kind of squint while you listen to it, it isn't hard to imagine. It kind of sounds like Yakiniku. Anyway, the nice thing about the Yakiniku Day is that many butcher shops and meat corners at supermarkets and even Yakiniku restaurants, they're going to have specials and, great prices on this day. So if you just happen to be in Tokyo or in Japan on August 29th, check it out. Get a good deal on Yakiniku. And that's it for this guide. If you're not subscribed to Tokyo Spark yet, please do. We create issues where we pack it full of things to see and do and learn about Japanese culture and just whatever we think will help you have a better time in Tokyo. We package it up and deliver it to our readers, our subscribers. No spam, promise. Just us helping you find something cool to do while you're here in Tokyo. And until then, till I see you again, or hopefully see you subscribed to Tokyo Spark, take care.